natin, di ba? Ano ba yung supply chain? Wait lang Ano yun? Baka mag-minimize tong ano eh. Yan. Okay. So again, we're gonna be talking about supply chain design. So ang learning objectives natin ay ito. So learning objectives at the end of the lesson should be able to develop a sound understanding of the important role of supply chain management in today's environment, and then be familiarized, may di dapat yan, ewan ko ba, with current supply chain management trends, and then understand and apply the current supply chain theories, practices, and concepts utilizing case problems and problem-based learning situations. So for objective number 3, you won't be having any case analysis because pero pag-isipan ko pa if I'm gonna give you a case study about this. But meron na sa ako share sa inyo that have been, I mean, yung kwento kasing yun is about Amazon. So meron kasi ako sinagutan na case study nung last week, no? Nagustuhan ko siya, and then I've been able to familiarize with the supply chain of Amazon. So what is a supply chain? So technically, so ang una nyo muna dapat malaman dyan is that it makes your products available, no? It makes the products available for you, no? So because of supply chain, may mga produkto, I mean yung mga produkto na meron diyan sa grocery stores, sa mga retail stores yan, kaya yun nandyan is because of the supply chain. So without supply chain, it's impossible for us to enjoy these things. So lahat ng produktong nandito sa harap natin, lahat ng gadgets that you enjoy, kahit yung damit na sinusuot nyo ngayon, yan ay produkto ng supply chain. So without supply chain, so it would be impossible for organization to satisfy the needs and wants of every customers or consumers. So that's why it's very important. So why do you have to study this? So later on, malalaman nyo yan. Okay, so let's continue our discussion. So before that, so this lesson is sponsored by First Year Brands. So itong First Year Brands ay, kala mo naman talaga sponsored by, no? Actually, they are still looking for interns that are good in marketing, advertising, multimedia arts, communication arts, journalism. So if you, though, hindi man somehow dyan related yung course nyo, pero what if you have a skill in multimedia arts and communication arts? Kung mayroon man, then you can join their organization as an intern. So what's the benefit of being an intern? So una, you'll get to have an experience kahit na estudyante pa lang kayo. Diba? Minsan nga pag graduate natin, hinahanapan ka agad na experience, fresh grad nga. Diba? So ngayon, if you've been able to join different organization through their internship program, pwede kasi yung ma-considered as experiences. Though, hindi siya work experiences, pero considered siya as training experiences. Still naman, ganun pa rin naman magtatrabaho pa rin naman kayo dito Diba? So, kasi for example, nag-join, bakit yung iba, ginagawa ang lahat para makapag-join sa internship program ng Google kahit walang sweldo? Dahil sa experience sa Google, because they will be learning a lot from Google once they started to join even as an intern dun sa organization na yun. So ganun din dito. So as you join as an intern to different organization, you can be able to equip yourselves with new skills or kung may skill na kayo, pwede pang ma-enhance yan or ma-improve through internship program. And that will also give you a competitive advantage or edge among any other applicants that are applying for the same job as you do. Na pagdating ng araw, mag-apply kayo, lahat kayo fresh grad, pero ikaw, may edge kasi may mga internship programs ka na sinalihan. Apart from the internship programs that have been provided to you by the school. So that's good. That is something good about internship programs. Okay? So kung interested lang naman kayo, I'm not forcing you to join because I'm not quite sure if you will be receiving any allowances from this organization. But kung meron man, then maganda yun. Okay? So, di ba, kung may skill naman kayo in multimedia and you want to develop that, kahit naman beginner skill pwede. So, if you want to join them, you can just send your CV to them and then may kakilala ko dyan. Actually, it's, she's my friend and then kapag nag-send kayo ng CV, sabihin niyo lang sa akin para masabihan ko siya. Okay? So let's proceed now with our discussion. So let's open now. The Book of Never-Ending Knowledge will soon be ending after 2 weeks. So, ito na ata yung last day that we'll be opening this book. So, ayan, ikis nyo na. Ayan. Nakiss nyo na ba? So, 3, 2, 1, kiss. Okay. Okay, so, ayan. Okay na. So, nakiss na ha. Okay, next. So, we're gonna be opening it now. So, ang first point na pag-usapan natin ay supply chain design. So, what is a supply chain? First, so supply chain is the network of all the individuals, organizations, resources, activities, and technology involved in the creation and sale of a product. So from that definition, for sure, hindi niyo pa siya gano'n naintindihan. Okay, so let's try to dissect, no? Ang supply chain daw, it is consist of individuals, ibig sabihin mga tao, working, no? Mga taong nagtatrabaho or may kanya-kanyang responsibilities or tasks to be carried out, yung mga activities na yan. And then organization, so meaning mga businesses or any other institutions, basta group of people, no? And then resources, so big resources, automatically apat yan. It can either be human resources, financial resources, intellectual resources, and physical resources, and technology as well. So this 5 is part of the network wherein they are gonna be, working together to develop a product or create a product and then deliver the product to the customer. Okay, so supply chain is responsible for that. From creation up to the selling of the product. So from this point, you can just easily comprehend the whole supply chain, no? Alam nyo lang dito, pag ito yung nakita nyo definition, si supply chain is responsible for the creation and sale of the product through individuals, organization, resources, activities, and technology. So let's have our second point to understand this better. A supply chain encompasses everything, no? Everything from the delivery of source materials from the suppliers to the manufacturer through its eventual delivery to the end user. So what does that mean? So ang supply chain daw nagsisimula yan from the delivery of raw materials from the supplier. So the supplier will be providing the raw materials. So kanino niya yung pinoprovide? Kay manufacturer. Bakit? For what reason? Bakit pinoprovide ng supplier yung raw materials kay manufacturer? Because manufacturer will then be transforming these raw materials into a final product or a finished product. That, yung finished product na yan and final product na yan will satisfy the needs and wants of you, kayo mga consumers, or tayo as end users. So ngayon, supply chain is responsible in transforming those raw materials into something useful for the end users or the consumer. Para siyang IPO, no? If you're familiar with that. So input, process, output model or diagram. So ang input will be coming from the supplier. And then, the inputs will then be processed by the manufacturers. So those are your raw materials. Pag na-process, di ba ang data, it will be transformed. Tama? So it will be transformed into what? A final product. Para kanino? Yung output will then be used by the end users. Or, syempre, the consumers. Okay, so that's medyo naintindihan na natin what supply chain is from that point, no? Ngayon, there is what we call as a generic supply chain. So, hindi ito yung generic na drugstore. Ang corny naman. Anyway, so a generic supply chain begins with the sourcing and extraction of raw materials. So, sino may responsibility doon? Syempre, yung supplier. So, the raw materials are then taken by this logistics provider to a supplier. So para ma-move yung resources, yung raw materials o yung resource na in-extract natin from one location papunta doon kay supplier, kailangan natin na magta-transport, right? Hindi transformers, no? Kailangan natin ng magta-transport. Ang tawag sa kanila, if you're gonna be acquiring their help, ay mga logistic provider ang tawag sa kanila. Logistics in business, pag sinabing logistics, yan ay responsible in moving resources from one point to another. From point of origin to the point of destination. So, hindi mo move yung resources without logistics. Okay, yun yung punto. Logistics can be in-house or what do you call this one? Provided by a third-party organization. Pag sinabi nating in-house, pwedeng si supplier, yung may-ari ng logistics services, or si supplier mayroong siyang sariling logistics services, Pag naman sinabi nating third party provided yan, ibig sabihin, galing sa ibang organization, yung logistics services, nagbabayad lang sa supplier. Either way, the role of the logistics is to move the resources papunta kay supplier. Ngayon, once a supplier receive the resources, i-refine niya ni supplier para magamit niya ni manufacturer. I-refine ibig sabihin, may aayusin, isusort, i-organize, ipapack kung anong kailangan gawin. Siyempre, hindi naman yan kagad kunwari, kumuha ka ng mga kamote sa farmers. So, yung kamote na yon, kahit malupa-lupa pa, ibebenta nyo na kagad. Hindi, di ba? I-refine nyo muna yung uugasan hanggang sa maging ma-achieve niya ng quality state niya. Ngayon, si supplier responsible doon, no? Refining of raw materials. Once the raw materials has been refined by the supplier, the next thing that will happen will be, it will be delivered papunta kay manufacturer. The manufacturer, sabi nga kanina, will then be responsible in processing them into finished product. So sabi dyan, manufacturers can also refine. Manufacturers will only refine the raw materials based on their preferences. Kunwari, nakuha nila ganito kalaking shape. Ewan, kita nyo ba? Yan, ganyan kalaki. Gusto nila mas maliliit, so i-refine nila yon. Pero, ang initial refinement ay mangyayari kay si kanina may responsibility doon, zero supplier. And then, after that, so the raw materials will then be transformed, no? The process yan for it to become a finished product. Okay, after that, what will happen? Afterward, it goes to the distributor. So, yung mga distributor na yan will then be responsible to distribute these products to the different retailers. For what reason? Kasi tayo, doon tayo bibili sa retailers. For us to be able to have an access to sa produkto, kailangan natin bumili through the retailers. Ngayon, excuse me. Ngayon, yung distributor, wholesaler, retailer, yan ang tinatawag nating market intermediaries. Sila yung mga middlemen between the manufacturer and the customer. So, kumbaga, if we don't have these market intermediaries in between, so hindi makakarating yung produkto kay consumer. Or pwede naman. So, pwede naman bumili directly kay manufacturer, di ba? Tama naman yon. Okay, tama naman yun. Wala namang problema doon. But, it is not all the time that it is possible, no? Kahit pa sabi sa Luke 1:37 that nothing is impossible, no? Okay? So, pwedeng hindi. So, for what reason? Let's say, for example, ganito. The manufacturing company ay outside the borders of the Philippines. Let's say, for example, nasa China. How can you be able to buy from that company papunta dito? Still, you will need someone to transport that, distribute that here in the Philippines. So, kailangan mo pa rin ng middleman. Kasi, unless, pupunta ka mismo sa China for you to buy that. Kunwari, manufacturing plant ng Nissin ay nandito sa Santa Rosa. Gusto mo kumain ng Monde Nissin. Pupunta ka sa Santa Rosa para lang bumili. Okay, di ba? It's not wise and it's not efficient, no? Economically. Mag-aso sa part mo at syempre, hassle sa part ng mga nung kumpanya. Kasi buruin mo, titingi-tingin, may nakapila sa labas ng Nissin factory. Ano mangyari? Di lalong traffic dito sa Santa Rosa, Balibago. Diba? Kung traffic sa Las Piñas, ganun din ka-traffic dyan sa Balibago. Yan. Tapos, ang kukulit pa ng mga tricycle driver. Diba? Liliko sa kanan, nakaon ang signal light sa kaliwa. Yan. Simula Paseo, yan, tama si Reka, Paseo traffic na yan. Lalo pag rush hour, nako. Alam niyo ilang lanes yon? Tagti 3 lanes yan. Kada 6 lanes bali yon. 3 lanes papunta doon, 3 lanes pa northbound, 3 lanes pa southbound. Diba? Sobrang lawak pa nun. Wala pang masyadong natawid, traffic pa din. Diba? Kaya, ayun, okay lang yan, mayayaman naman mga nakatira doon sa part no, sila Reka yun. But anyway, so that's the importance of middlemen or intermediaries, no? Market intermediaries. Pero it's not all the time that they exist, no? In the supply chain of the organization. Meron kasi mga companies that are capable in reaching their customers directly. Pero, madami kasing nagma-mass produce na dumadaan talaga sa mga retailers yung mga produkto. Okay? So ngayon, that is your generic supply chain. There is also, ito yung itsura niya, no? Ganyan yung itsura niya for you to better understand the supply chain. So raw materials will be extracted by the supplier, and then the supplier will be delivering that to the manufacturing company. Then the manufacturing company, once na produce na yung item, magdadaan niya sa distribution centers, and then the distributors will be distributing the product to various wholesalers and retailers. And that's the time that it will only be available to the consumers. Okay, so that is the supply chain. So tingnan niyo na maigi, ayan yung itsura nun. Okay, so ang dami ko lang sinabi, pero ayan na yun. Okay, so ano pinagkaiba ng wholesale sa retail? So retail. Ano ba yan? Okay, when you say wholesalers, so wholesalers are buying in bulk, no? And then also selling in bulk. Wholesalers are market intermediaries, pareho lang sila ni retailers. Yun nga lang, si wholesaler directly nagtatransact sa mga distributors at mga manufacturers. Si retailer naman, buying in bulk, pero will be selling it per unit, no? At a retail price. So kaya may mga SRP, no? Suggested retail price. Yun ay bibili sila ng madamihan, tapos ibebenta nila ng tingi-tingi. Tapos papatungan na lang nila ng markup. Si wholesaler hindi. Isang bagsakan yung bilihan niya, may binabagsakan din siya mga retailer. Okay, so ang nakikipag-transact si wholesaler kalimitan, directly sa company or sa isang distributor in. Tapos si wholesaler na yung responsible to distribute it to different retail stores dun sa city nila or sa town nila. Ganon. So yun yung trabaho, yun pinagkaiba nung dalawa. Okay? So again, may mga companies that don't utilize the market intermediaries, but rather, they were reaching directly from their warehouses papunta sa customers. So mamaya bigyan ko yung example for that. Okay? So ngayon, there is also what we call as e-commerce supply chain or supply chain for an e-commerce company. Okay, so hindi basic ko kasi nakakairita yung boses niya. So ako na lang yung sasagot. So, e-commerce company operates a website and then website stars. Alam niyo naman ito. Yun nga lang, e-commerce company is no longer limited on websites. No? Actually, you can put up your own e-commerce business through Facebook, in even other social media platforms, and even through software applications or mobile applications, sorry. Pwede, like Lazada and Shopee. Or even, you can be, tawag dito, a seller wherein gagamit ka lang ng platform ng iba, like Lazada or Shopee nga. Seller ka, may e-commerce business ka, pero yung platform na gagamit ng platform ka kay Lazada at Shopee. Okay, so ganun na ngayon, nag-evolve na ang e-commerce. Actually, kung tatanungin niyo ako, kailan nag-start ang e-commerce? Nag-start yan noong hindi ko alam, no? Hindi ko talaga alam. Siyempre, yung magsabi ng hindi ako sigurado. Pero one thing is for sure, yung nag-start ang isang pinakamalaking company ngayon, which is an e-commerce company, kailan 1994. Okay? Anong company yon? It's Amazon. So si Amazon, yes, very good. Okay? Amazon started as an e-commerce company that disrupted the industry of books. Dati kasi ang books ay physical, di ba? Physical bookstore, then you can buy there the books that you need. Amazon disrupted that industry. Basically, when disrupt, binana nila yung business model. So instead of going on physical stores or physical bookstores, you can actually browse books online. And that's what Amazon did. 1994. Then eventually, Amazon started to acquire businesses. Nagkaroon yan ng iba't ibang business segments that are not related in books. Pwede example. Nag-search sila ng mga parang mga video descriptions. Wherein you subscribe to access different videos. Magagano sila. Marami iba. Then hanggang dumating na they acquired the Whole Foods Market. Whole Foods Market is one of the biggest grocery stores noon in the US. In-acquire nila yon for what reason? For them to have an access on the physical store at the same time to expand their distribution network para lang makasupply chain nila. Kasi si Whole Foods Market have an access to different where meron mga warehouses si Whole Foods Market na wala si Amazon. So nung in-acquire na yon, napunta sa kanya lahat yon, syempre. At lahat buong Whole Foods Market. Hanggang sila sa Amazon, from an e-commerce business doing both. So nagkaroon ng physical store yan, kaya tinawag yung supply chain na omni-channel. Wherein omni-channel supply chain, sinasabi, huwag nyo na ito masyadong depende. Explain